Okay, this one has 3 logs in it. You got 1 log on the left and then 2 logs on the right, but the logs on the right are separated by a subtraction sign. So I can condense it down to a single log using the quotient rule. So the number in front is the numerator and the stuff behind, the subtraction sign, is the denominator. Okay, so what I have now is the natural log of this equals the natural log of that. So if you have the natural log of this equals the natural log of that, then your this will equal your that. You get to just drop the logs. So on the left, I'll have a 5x minus 2, and on the right, I'll have a 6 over an x minus 3. No more logs, but I do have a rational equation, so I got to clear out the fraction. So I am going to multiply this side by x minus 3 so that the x minus 3's cancel out. But what you do to one side, you got to do to the other. And of course, over here, this is going to have to be FOILed. So first times first is 5x squared. My outsides are a negative 2x. My insides are a negative 15x. And then my last times my last is a positive 6. And then on the right, these canceled, so all you're left with is the 6. And then I can combine like terms on the left side. That's going to be negative 17x. And then as soon as when I'm foiling, the x squared shows up, which means, okay, now I got to deal with the quadratic equation. So I got to set it equal to 0 and hope that it factors, because if it doesn't factor, you got to use that quadratic formula. So I'm going to subtract the 6, and that becomes 0, and that cancels out. So woohoo! All I have is a 5x squared minus a 17x equals the 0. And all I have to do is factor out a greatest common factor. So follow me. The only thing that 5x squared and 17x have in common is an x. So right here, my two answers are either x is a 0 or 5x minus 17 is the 0, which means 5x, I'd add 17 and then divide by 5, which makes my other possible answer 17/5. However, if you put a 0 here or here, you're going to get a negative value. 0 minus 3 is a negative 3, and you can't take natural logs of negatives. 0 causes a problem. 17/5 is what? 3 2/5. 3 2/5 is bigger than 3, so I'll get a positive value here. And 5 times 3 is 15 minus 2. That's a positive value, so this doesn't cause any problems. So that should be my answer. 17/5. And 29 has more than one log, but this time I got a log here and I got a log over here, and they're on opposite sides of the equal sign. They need to be on the same side. Before, I had the log of this equals the log of that. I don't have that here. What I have is the log of this equals 1 minus the log of that. I don't have a situation where I can just drop the logs. This positive 1 here causes me problems. It causes me to not be able to do that. So I'm going to have to get my logs on the same side. They cancel out over here, which means all you're left with on the right side is this number 1. And then over here, I'm going to have the log of the x plus 9, and then I added over the log of the x. Those are not like terms, but they are added together, so you can condense it down to a single logarithm by multiplying the x minus 9 times the x. And I've got it down to a single log. And when you get it down to a single log, then you're going to convert it from log form to exponent form. You're leaving log land, going to exponent land, and you do have to remember that there's a little invisible 10 right there. So if my base is a 10 in log land, my base is a 10 in exponent land. And then remember, logarithms always equal exponents. So the 1 has to go right there. And then that's going to equal the x minus 9 times x, which is the red stuff. And I'm going to go ahead and distribute this. That's going to be x squared minus 9x. And of course, 10 to the first is just, this right here is just a 10. And it's a quadratic equation, so I'm going to set it equal to 0. Subtract 10 on both sides. That cancels there. Running out of room. Follow me up here. I'm going to get 0 equals x squared minus 9x minus 10. Yes, that factors to be an x and an x for x squared. I need 2 factors of negative 10. That'll add up to negative 9. That'll be a negative 10 times a positive 1. Negative 10 times positive 1 is negative 10. And when you add them together for outsides and insides, you get the middle term of negative 9x. So, one of my possible answers is x is equal to 10, and the other possible answer is x is equal to negative 1. But this one can't happen because right here, if you take log of a negative number, that's a problem. So there's only one answer. It's x equals